Hello, my name is Dr. Richard Humphrey, and for my safety, I am currently speaking to you from an undisclosed location in the United States. I'll explain why in just a few moments. As today, in just 4 minutes from now, I'm going to let you in on a shockingly simple, highly effective method to supercharge your brain health, prevent and reverse brain issues such as dementia, and effortlessly improve memory, focus, and concentration. This breakthrough method is so unbelievably powerful that Mensa International and high IQ societies have globally banned their members from using it, as those who do are unfairly intelligent and focused, and make a mockery of the effort and hard work needed to qualify as a member. Used daily by 39,144 people, and counting, backed by years of revolutionary off-the-grid research into our brain by a leading neuroscientist, and supported by countless peer-reviewed medical journals. This controversial brain trick has now been scientifically proven to drastically improve cognitive functions and stimulate and regrow neurons permanently. And it's something you can do right this second from the comfort of your own home, without doing a single brain training puzzle, without opening a single book, and without undergoing a single test. In fact, without learning a single thing, but this one mind-blowingly simple and effective method that connects neurons like magnets and restores your mind back to its configuration when you were in your 20s, no matter your age or your current cognitive condition. If you or a loved one has been noticing symptoms of declining brain health, such as forgetting your keys, forgetting people's names, difficulty communicating, loss of balance and coordination, even personality changes, or if there has already been a diagnosis of dementia or Alzheimer's, or you simply want to improve and maintain your healthy mind for years to come, then watch this video to the end, and you'll discover just how easy it is to reverse and prevent any of these issues from ever taking hold, even if you thought your prime years of brain health were gone and never coming back. You're about to discover how, for just a couple of minutes each day, for only 14 days, you can reprogram the way your brain works forever. No forgetfulness, no embarrassing senior moments, no fog that clouds judgment and creates confusion. Just a clear head where memories are formed and kept the second they are made with almost unparalleled mental acuity. Reversing and preventing any brain issue, such as dementia and Alzheimer's, all attained through a single one-of-a-kind method, backed up by solid science. No drugs involved. So, if this is so easy, why haven't you heard about it before? It comes down to this: $10.1 billion. That's the amount of money the world currently spends on Alzheimer's drugs. Drugs that my colleagues and I have discovered are ineffective in the long term. Nevertheless, the companies making a killing on these drugs are determined to keep their market and silence those of us who are trying to get the truth out. As soon as I started trying to bring these incredibly powerful brain exercises into the mainstream, I also started receiving cease and desist orders, and even threats against my life and that of my family. In the face of this blatant intimidation campaign, I'm sure you can understand why I'm hesitant to reveal my location to you today. The high IQ elite, top government officials, doctors, lawyers, and more are desperate to keep this closely guarded, controversial secret to themselves, as it has the power to level the playing field. Branding Big Pharma's medications pointless, brain training games and puzzles a waste of time, and examinations and aptitude tests useless. So, if you're serious about improving your own or a loved one's mind, memory, and brain health, then pay close attention as I show you just how easy this can be, especially because with all the pressure by the powers that be to take this video offline and keep it out of your reach, I really don't know how much longer we'll be able to keep it up. This video, which will take just a few minutes of your time, may just be the most important thing you have watched all year. Can you imagine, in just 2 weeks from now, enjoying a new you? No more embarrassing senior moments or brain fog. No more confusion or inability to perform day-to-day tasks. No more worries about dementia or other brain issues worsening or ever taking hold. No more worries about the burden you may become to your loved ones as your condition progresses. If you think this all sounds too good to be true, then I understand. And if I wasn't the one who experienced firsthand the effectiveness of this strange brain trick, I would still be thinking the same thing. This remarkable method, which comes directly from a 104-year-old professor, has now helped over 39,000 people finally take back control over their mind, such as Herbert Duckworth from Texas, who wrote in to say,
"Hi Richard, my name is Herbert Duckworth. It was a really worrying time for both me and my family when I started showing signs of losing my memory and deteriorating brain health. I tried to ignore it and hope the symptoms would go away, but they sadly only got worse. It all started as forgetting things around the house, until one day I forgot the gas cooker was on and nearly went and blew up the whole place. Well, I've been following the steps you outline in your secret for just 16 days, and in the last 4 days, my results have been breathtaking. No more forgetfulness, no more confusion, and no more leaving the gas on. I honestly feel as sharp as I did when I was a young man. I cannot wait to see what the future has to bring. Regards, Herbert."
and Barbara Flores from Missouri, who said,
Hi, Richard. I just really wanted to thank you personally for sharing your secret to improving the brain health of my husband. I mean, over the past 3 years, I have watched him go from a loving and caring and an intelligent man to someone who barely even recognizes me. And right now, not even 13 days has passed, and we're both extremely startled at how much progress that he's made from just a few minutes of our time each day. And he's able to sit up and converse and talk to me, and for the first time in years, he's told me thank you and how much he loves me. And I'm sorry, this has made me very emotional, as you could probably guess, and it's just really all thanks to you and what you've taught me, and I just really have to thank you from the bottom of my heart for giving my husband and me our lives back. So I just wanted to give you our best wishes. Much love, Barbara Flores.
And Johnny Edwards from Michigan, who emailed saying,
Hello, Richard. After being diagnosed with dementia 3 months ago, I feel privileged having been given the opportunity to test drive your secret to supercharging my brain health and preventing this problem to take hold. I do not hold much hope for this secret, as I'm honestly a very skeptical person by nature, but I really had nothing to lose. I am on day 11, and I can safely say my skepticism was not necessary. My senior moments have since disappeared for good. I recently took a trip to my doctor, and he couldn't even explain it himself. However this method works, it works, and that's the most important thing. Thank you, Johnny.
As I mentioned, my name is Dr. Richard Humphrey, and for the past 25 years, I have dedicated my life to the study of our brain in the field known as neuroscience. After graduating with a doctorate in neurobiology and behavior from Columbia University Medical Center, I have worked in many top medical establishments and laboratories and helped carry out cutting-edge research alongside a team of respected scientists into the true working of our brain and nervous system, the functionality of memory, cognitive science, and in particular brain issues such as dementia and Alzheimer's. While we made significant progress and discoveries researching in one of the most high-tech labs in the country, nothing has come close in magnitude to the discovery I made outside of the lab just months ago. It was August 2013. I was driving back from a long, arduous day at a research facility in western New York. I was chuckling to myself in the car at a rather funny incident that happened in our lab earlier that day. A young and clumsy intern had accidentally dropped some cesium into a vial of water. As the elements combined, there was an almighty crashing sound as the liquid spurted high into the air, drenching the intern and the ceiling. He was safe, albeit a little shocked, but I couldn't help but laugh. You're probably wondering why I'm telling you this. Well, it will all become clear in just a second. As I got home, I greeted my wife Julie, and we sat at the table to discuss our day, as we have done for the past 20 years. At the time, she was working as a nurse in the city. I recounted my little amusing anecdote. We both laughed, and I thought nothing of it. Later that night, I brought up the intern in our conversation. What intern? She said. What do you mean? I said. What we spoke about earlier. She could not remember a single detail of my story and thought I was joking that I had told her earlier. I put it down to her being tired and not paying attention. The next day after work, I decided to describe the same story and got the same response and laughter. Now I knew something was up. The third day, once again, I told her the same story and got exactly the same response, as if it was the first time she was ever hearing it. At that moment, my heart sank. I knew this was the start of a long and upsetting road for both of us. I had seen these symptoms in thousands of my patients. And worse, this was my wife, my closest companion, and she had dementia. Day by day, her condition was deteriorating. She was not only forgetting small things like her keys and handbag, but starting to forget the names of friends, objects, and relatives. It was disheartening and traumatizing for both of us. Her short-term memory was declining fast, and with so many years of experience dealing with brain issues, I had never seen such a rapid decline in mental acuity, memory, and cognitive function. Worse still, she had no ability to remember she even had a problem. I knew of several medications that could be used to treat dementia, but didn't dare to use them on her. In all my research, I had yet to find a proven solution to preventing and reversing this condition, and the last thing I wanted was to fill her with unnatural and untested chemicals. Not many doctors will be honest enough to tell you that, and I even may get in trouble for doing so. But truthfully, I don't know of a single doctor or colleague who would prescribe these medications for their friends or family. There's simply no proof that they actually work. So I kept on plugging to try to find a way to help her. I ran MRI after MRI, all to no avail. Then one day, a close friend of mine recommended I visit a professor of hers, who she said may be able to help me. This gentleman was 104 years old and had always been on the fringe of neuroscience as far as I knew. But in complete desperation, and with nothing to lose, I made the 8-hour drive to visit Professor Wilson in Ottawa. Honestly, I had no hopes for the visit. What could a 104-year-old man teach me? Would this man even be coherent, let alone able to help me with my wife and her situation? As I walked up the narrow path to his house, I was expecting a slow, out-of-touch old man. But when the door opened, I saw an old, but bright-eyed man standing before me. "Come in," he said. I walked into an apartment that could have been mine in college days. He had all the latest gadgets and a ton of those brain-bending board games we all used to have. But most prominent was Professor Wilson's personality. I couldn't help but notice how fast and alert he was for his age. He was quick-witted and attentive. If he wasn't standing in front of me, I'd have figured he was 75 years younger. It was something I had never seen in my entire life, and he didn't even see it as something special. I had to inquire more. There was something utterly remarkable about this man, so I asked him to describe his day-to-day activities. Everything seemed normal apart from two key things that were far different from my lifestyle. The first and most important step was how Professor Wilson prepared his mind in the morning. Just as we do our teeth, wash and dress for the day, thus we must prepare our mind for the day, he said. The brain is an organ, much like our heart, so why on earth do we not exercise it too? He then led me through his collection of over 30 unusual 5-minute brain training tricks. He stressed that the power behind these exercises lies in the fact that you can perform them anytime and anywhere. Throughout his life, Professor Wilson had been collecting each of his tried and tested methods, or brain workouts as he called them, in this tattered, leather-bound journal. He showed it to me, and it was full of handwritten notes, diagrams, and the results he achieved, all meticulously written, day by day, for the past 59 years. He had been using himself as a human guinea pig, testing some methods for a week, others for months, and finding those brain workouts which were the most effective in creating focus and removing the fog that starts to appear as we age. He described his mind as a clear day, focused, concentrated, but relaxed. I had my doubts, but the proof was standing there in front of me. So what the hell, I thought. I had nothing to lose. So I decided to try just a sample of his brain workouts with my wife every morning. I thanked Professor Wilson for his time and left with a feeling of pure excitement. Naturally, she tended to dismiss them at first, skeptical and confused by their use, but I kept encouraging her to stick with it because of what I'd seen for myself. After 8 days, there was little change, but we persevered. On the 14th day, when I came home from work, I caught Julie doing a hard crossword from the newspaper. I stood there in disbelief. When I asked her what she was doing, she nonchalantly replied, "Finishing this crossword. I'll just be a minute." This turned out to be a harbinger of things to come. Gradually, day to day, she was starting to retain her short-term memory. She used to forget that she'd gone shopping and wonder where all this stuff in the cupboard came from. That was no more. And of course, those pesky keys she kept losing were accounted for every morning. At work, she'd now remember her patient's situation without needing to constantly look at a chart. She was amazed, and so was I. Jubilant, I went back to Professor Wilson. He was pleased to see me. "Feeling better, isn't she?" "Like night and day," I said. I was almost angry at him for keeping this to himself when it could help so many. "We've got to get this out there," I said. He said he had always wanted to share it, but he figured that thanks to his reputation in the community, no one would believe him. All he needed now, he said, was someone to help him put everything together. I was happy to oblige. We spent the next 9 weeks going through his voluminous journal and condensing it down into a guide that anyone would be able to follow. We called it the Brain Stimulator Method. This guide is the one and only system you need to prime your memory, sharpen your focus, and bring your brain back to life. It's written in everyday language and has been backed up by solid, time-proven science. In short, if your memory is important to you, this guide is, pardon the pun, a no-brainer. This year, as word spread about how well this guide works to improve people's everyday lives, we decided to contact some companies that produce therapies for Alzheimer's to see if they'd be interested in distributing it to their patients. Why wouldn't they want to? They didn't. In retrospect, it's no wonder. This would have helped their patients in one shot. Once they had this guide, they would likely no longer need these expensive drugs and therapies. From a business point of view, there's no way these companies would want their patients to ever hear of a life-changing treatment like this. That's when things started getting tense. I started noticing strange cars tailing me. I received a strongly worded letter telling me to disassociate myself from this guide or else. Well, if you're out there, this video is your answer. Not only do I refuse to retract this information, I'm going to make it as easy as I can for anyone to find it. Instead of running from doctor to doctor, you can have the easy and effective solution to brain health right at your fingertips. No more ineffective medications or treatments. No more listening to doctors tell you there's really nothing they can do. No more worrying what comes next. Just a crystal clear mind, 24 hours a day, from the moment you wake up till the moment you go to bed. Imagine waking up 20 years from now with a mind sharper than it is today. Imagine running rings around your colleagues as they get more and more lackadaisical, while you're always on point. Imagine how your family will react when all of a sudden they don't need to worry about keeping tabs on you any longer, as your mental focus grows and grows. They may scoff at first, but pretty soon they'll be ready to try these proven memory boosters for themselves. You'll soon see the same incredible improvement as Lamar from Nashville, who told us,
"Dear Professor Wilson and Dr. Humphrey, I want to say thank you. It can't have even been 15 days of following the method you outline in your brain stimulator guide, and I am already noticing the difference in every aspect of my mind. I have gone from being the typical, forgetful father who was slowly slipping away into the clutches of dementia to an attentive and helpful father that my kids deserve to have. All this achieved through following the series of unusual brain methods you showed me for just a couple of minutes each day. I wouldn't have believed it until I saw the results for myself. Thank you again, Lamar.
And Brenda from Carson City.
Dear Richard and Professor Wilson, I want to say how fortunate I feel to have been able to read and implement what you teach in your brain stimulator method guide. As a teacher of 8th grade students, I always have to be on the ball and attentive to their needs. But when I started forgetting what I was teaching each day and even their names, I knew something was up. When my friend told me of your guide and the results she was having, I had to try it for myself. I am now on day 9 of following the series of unusual tricks that you outline in your book for just a couple minutes each evening, and my results? Well, they're almost unreal. For the past 2 days, I have not forgotten a single thing. I feel more alert, more on top of everything, and much more focused. I feel like I have a brand new brain. I dare to think how I would have ended up had I not started to do something about it straight away. Thank you so much. Brenda.
And Edward from Detroit.
Dear Dr. Richard Humphrey and Professor Jonathan Wilson, my name is Ed Schreier. For the past 6 months, I've noticed my brain's ability to function has been slowly deteriorating. I was an investment manager in one of Europe's most prestigious hedge funds, and thus required to be extremely focused for the entire day. When I noticed my declining brain health, I knew something had to be done. Otherwise, it would mean losing my job within weeks. For the past 16 days, I've been following your brain stimulator method guide, as described for a few minutes of my time each day. The program is easy to do, but very effective. The difference in how my brain works is stunning. It's almost like I've been rewired. I am more focused and alert than ever. And not only that, I have since landed a job at a multinational corporation solely due to my new brain health. Thank you, and keep up the good work. Ed.
The Brain Stimulator Method Guide details, step by step, the exact system that Professor Wilson, my wife, thousands others, and even I followed daily to regenerate our minds and keep our brains as healthy as possible. In it, Professor Wilson details every single one of his 30-plus tried and tested, time-proven brain exercises you can do right now, this very second, with nothing but a couple of minutes of your time. Some of these unusual brain tricks may just surprise you, but when you experience the results, you will be not just surprised, but shocked with their effectiveness. Now, with all the work it took to put this together, and the incredible results we've seen, we initially inclined to charge at least $200 for this guide. After all, that's much less than you'd pay for a regime of dementia drugs, right? And we're talking about simple exercises that anyone can do, absolutely anywhere they like, with no equipment. They have now been proven by 39,000 plus people to significantly improve their memory. Isn't that worth the equivalent of a couple trips to the grocery store? I think that's a fair price for this. But well, my wife doesn't. These are the same brain workouts that saved her from a steep decline into dementia after all. She was on the verge of losing her job when we started seeing improvement. If it wasn't for these exercises, her life might be very different today. So, she told me in no uncertain terms that she wants absolutely anyone who thinks they may need this to be able to get a hold of it. End of discussion. So, if you take advantage of this offer on this page, you can download this entire guide and reap the benefit of these scientifically proven brain boosters for just $37. Yep, you heard it right, $37. That's probably less than you're paying for your connection to the internet right now. To get started right this second and lock in this very special pricing, press the Add to Cart button below. And that's not even all of it. Grab this today, and we're also going to throw in a fantastic bonus that we believe will help accelerate your brain health progress with this program. This bonus is a very special series of brain-stimulating subliminal soundtracks. These carefully constructed files are proven to stimulate your brain and help aid the rebuilding of neurons. Created by leading scientists in the field, they are the perfect counterpart to this program. This fantastic bonus, worth $99.99, yours free when you order today. No matter whether you're 30 years old and you want to keep your memory as sharp as it is now, or you're 60 and determined to regain the memory you had 30 years ago, you won't get a better chance than this. All you need to do now is press the Add to Cart button below to get full access to the Brain Stimulator Method Guide, as well as the fantastic bonus subliminal soundtracks, absolutely free. Now you've seen for yourself the results that these brain workouts have achieved for people in all walks of life, of all ages. We're not talking some sort of intangible benefits you don't even notice. We're talking an immediate boost in memory and focus that can get you your next job or let you hang on to the job you've got as long as you want. And you start seeing these results in less than a month. So, You'd think we'd give you a month to try it. Well, we're not. We're giving you 2. Once you download this guide, you'll have an entire 60 days to try it, establish your new routine, and measure your memory improvement. And if it doesn't cut it, a full refund is just an email away. But because we believe so strongly in these exercises, we're going to let you keep all the material. You heard it right. We've done absolutely everything we can to make this guide as simple as we can. Simple to understand, simple to use, and a no-brainer to buy. So now, it's up to you. You can either just keep plugging away at life, knowing that one morning you're going to wake up and realize you're on the road to dementia, and maybe even Alzheimer's. You can trust the pharmaceutical industry, famous for failing Alzheimer's drugs and therapies to treat this terrible, debilitating disease. Or you can take steps to make sure you never have to face Alzheimer's, dementia, or even the general slowing down as your brain gets older. You can put a bevy of proven brain exercises to work for your brain or your loved ones. You can establish a morning mind routine now that could pay huge dividends down the road and bring you results in as little as 2 weeks. You can trust a multi-billion-dollar industry famous for fabrication, or a 104-year-old professor who has perfected these techniques for 60 years. I know one thing for sure. Julie and I are living a life we never would have had if we had listened to my establishment colleagues and resorted to useless treatments for dementia. Instead, we went for it. We put our faith in the power of the brain to heal itself and keep itself in tip-top shape. And we'll be reaping the rewards for the rest of our lives. How about you? Click Add to Cart and put yourself and your loved ones on a path free from memory loss and mental breakdown. After all, it's the only brain you've got. Add to cart now.